Most people don't know that there's a few things that you can do to increase your chances of your mortgage being accepted. These can be the difference between a yes and a no from a lender, and they don't have to cost the earth, but they can dramatically increase your chances of your mortgage being approved. Hi, I'm Jenny from Your Mortgage Hub, and I'm here to help those starting out or starting over with their mortgage applications by showing you what you should and shouldn't be doing when it comes to applying for a mortgage. I had a client came to me because they'd gone direct to their bank and they was told, A, you can't afford that mortgage, and B, there's something on your credit file. They wouldn't tell them what was on their credit file. They just said that there was something on their credit file. So they came to myself in a bit of a panic and said, look, we really want to buy this home, but the bank is saying we can't. I asked to see a copy of their credit file as well as their sort of income and expenditure details. And I was able to tell them, unfortunately, at this time, you're not going to be able to borrow that level of borrowing. And there was a couple of reasons for that. One, why their income would allow them to support the mortgage, their expenditure wouldn't, and the fact that they had this thing on their credit file, which was actually a CCJ. So what I explained to them is, let's put a plan together. Let's come up with one way that we can work together to make sure that in the future you can afford the house that you're looking for. So the first thing I told them to do was get the CCJ repaid. And the reason for this was it was less than 500 and they could more than afford to pay it. But some lenders will simply not lend you if you have an outstanding CCJ. So I told them to get that repaid. I also then told them that what it will do is it will open up the doors to more lenders as well as increase that credit score. I then advised them to start working to repay their credit cards because they had a lot of outstanding balances. And the best way to do this is you get the credit card with the highest APR and you start to repay that. You pay the minimum payments on all your other credit cards and you just focus on that one. Once that's reduced down, you then move to the second one with the highest APR and you keep doing that until you've got zero balances across all of your credit cards. Don't close the credit cards. If you close the credit cards, what that will do is that will show that you have a higher credit utilization and that will damage your credit score. So leave them open, just don't use them. That is unless you can't trust yourself not to use them, and then maybe just cut them up and forget the PIN number. Okay, they went through this process. It took them about 4 or 5 months, but they was able to reduce those credit cards down. They had the CCJ repaid, and then they also registered to vote because they hadn't done that. And doing all of those 3 things meant that they could afford a higher loan amount, meant they could get better interest rates on their mortgage, and it meant when we submitted the application, it actually sailed through to mortgage offer. So here are 5 things that you can all do that will dramatically increase your chances of your mortgage being accepted. And again, they do not have to cost the earth. Number 1, reduce the borrowing on your revolving credits. Basically, we're talking about store cards and credit cards. Bring them down. Lenders don't like to see that you've got high balances because that makes them a little bit nervous that you're living off your credit cards. So reduce the borrowing on any revolving credit. But again, don't close them down when they get a zero balance. Number 2, register to vote. It's the first place the lender is going to look to do the ID checks. If they can't find you, they could simply decline you just because they don't know who you are. So register to vote. You don't need to vote, you just need to register to vote. Number 3, gather all your documents, including your credit file. So lots of things are online at the moment, which is absolutely fine, but there's still documents that come through the post, like your tax award letters, your child benefit letters, things like that. Gather them and put them all in to one place. Not too safe, you don't know where it is, but safe enough that you know where it is and you can find it. And do that maybe 6 months before you're looking, because lenders can go back as far as they want, and usually it's no more than 6 months. So gather all that information, put it in a safe place, so when your mortgage broker asks for it, you can hand it straight over. Number 4, get yourself a whole of market mortgage advisor. What we do is we search the whole of the market to find the right lender for you and your circumstances. We look at your credit file, your deposit, your income and your expenditure, and we will match you to that right person. If you go to a broker that's only got a small panel, it just means all you're doing is limiting your options to what lenders you can go to. And they may say no, just purely because they haven't got the right lender on the panel. Number 5, be realistic in your affordability. Your mortgage broker is going to be able to tell you exactly how much you can borrow and stick to it. If you bid on a house and you go 20, 30,000 over that, there's no way that you can afford that. And that's then going to cause you to have a declined application. Just be realistic in your approach and realistic when you're looking on those online sites trying to find your dream home. So there are 5 things that everyone can do to really improve their chances of their mortgage being accepted. Number 1, reduce the borrowing on your revolving credit, but don't shut them down. Number 2, register to vote. You don't need to vote, you just need to register. Gather all your documents, including your credit file, maybe 6 to 7 months prior to applying for the mortgage, so you know exactly where everything is and you can hand that over to your mortgage broker. Number 4, get yourself a whole of market mortgage broker. We'll search the whole of the market and find the right mortgage for you. And number 5, be realistic in your affordability. If you're on 20,000 and you're looking at properties for 500,000, potentially you cannot afford that. So be realistic in your approach. So let me know what you're doing to improve your chances of your mortgage application being approved in the comments below, and check out my page for more hints and tips on what you should and shouldn't be doing when it comes to applying for a mortgage. And if you want that no cost credit file option, drop a comment below and I'll send a link over.